What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with another GARP challenge video, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the GARP challenges with a strength team. Now this strength team is going to be able to complete all 4 of the number 1 or the 10-star difficulty GARP challenges versus Heavenly Demon, Revolutionary Army, Whitebeard, and also NL. Now the key thing for this team is that with this team in particular, we do have a friend captain suite commanders. This is not a double bullet team, this is a suite commander friend captain with Douglas Bullet as our main captain. So some key units here to talk about. Obviously we've got the Coliseum NL, who's going to be a great utility unit for this team. One thing to note about NL as well is because our captain is driven, we actually get the chain boost whenever we launch his special. Now attached to NL as well, we have the support of Legend Doflamingo, and he states that anytime a driven unit uses their special that changes your orbs around, which NL gives himself a matching slot, he will proc and give your driven characters a 1.75 orb boost, which is very nice, because we have Bullet being driven, and we have Buggy on the team who is also driven. Buggy is very key for allowing us to get a full board of matching slots, and also getting rid of most of the debuffs on the NL stage. Then we also have Usohachi, who's really good. I do have the support of Valentine's Nami on him, but don't worry about that too much. There is absolutely no reason to have that unit there at all. You can replace that with whatever you want. But we do have Luffy and Sanji here because they have an amazing switch effect to generate recovery slots for our team. Their special is super useful too. And then also the support of Pudding allows us to get rid of the stun debuff on the final stage of the NL fight, which is quite key. And we are using the Nostra Castello ship, the brand new one that debuted with the 6th anniversary, which gives us a -1 cooldown, which doesn't really matter. But the additional attack boost being if you're at full HP or if you're below 30%, getting a 1.75 boost, it really definitely helps. And then of course, one thing to note just before we move into the actual content is we do have Legend Akainu attached to Bullet. So whenever Bullet launches his special, we get a full board of strength slots, and we get a 1.5 attack boost, which is just nice to get free damage out of that. But anyways, that's the breakdown of the team. Let's go ahead and get into the strength team versus all 4 10-star difficulty GARP challenges. So getting into the showcase, the main reason why I wanted to go ahead and use the Suite Commanders as the friend captain, well, number 1, because they're a brand new unit, so I definitely wanted to have some sort of way of using them. And additionally, they have a fantastic captain effect which can resist 10 turns of despair, which is super useful, especially for these 10-star difficulty GARP challenges. As you see here with this stage on the Doflamingo challenge, being able to resist the despair just basically means we can attack normally. And of course, with Bullet being super effective against all types, it does mean that he's going to be hitting very hard, and also works very well with the Suite Commanders, as their special ability will not only give us a color affinity boost, which will enable Bullet to do more damage when he attacks against any character in the game, but it will also give us a chain boost, so it means that our final attacking character will be hitting even harder than the rest of the team. And of course, with Bullet's captain effect, he boosts himself by a significant margin compared to the rest of the team. So Bullet being the last hitter, and he's super effective against all types, and you have the color affinity, lots of beneficial effects going on here, which is great. The Doflamingo challenge is typically the most difficult to get around because of the fact that you have to get around despair, you have to get around the paralysis. Both of those are extremely annoying to deal with, but with this team in particular, that's not really a big problem because of Suite Commanders being available here. And then even just looking back at like the Int GARP challenges, for example, if you have both the Halloween Law and Halloween Mihawk with their captain effects, they both resist despair and paralysis, so it actually works really well. But I digress. We'll talk about that once we get the Int video out, which will hopefully be in the next few days or so. But here we are with the Bato stage, again, just attacking normally. Treble stage, I think I use the Bullet special against Treble so I can kill off those surrounding mob characters. And then by the time we reach the final boss stage, like, there's really no issues here. And the really good thing as well is that if we ever need matching slots, we could go ahead and use the Buggy special, which, because our captain is driven, we do get a full board of slots for our team. He's also got great utility, by the way, too, but the main reason why Buggy is here is because he removes that special bind on the final stage of NL, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But not really too much else to talk about with this team versus the Doflamingo challenge. It's pretty self-explanatory and straightforward from this point onwards. But I'll go ahead and talk to you guys once we get to the number 2 challenge, which is against the Revolutionary Army. So here we are with the Revolutionary Army. Now, one thing that I did talk about at the start of the video when I was breaking down the team is I have a support character attached to Usohachi, which is the Valentine's Nami. So when I launch the special, I can go ahead and get rid of Bind and Despair. However, the thing here is I wanted to go ahead and see if I could break through the defense just with my normal attacks, and that actually didn't work. So you actually have to use Usohachi on this stage, unfortunately. I was hoping to save him for stage 2 so I could get rid of the bind, but it's not really that big of an issue, as you guys will see, because the surrounding characters that are behind Robin, they will go ahead and despair you on the first turn, but because we have a captain such as the Sweet Commanders, we don't actually have to worry about that. As long as we have the switch ability of Luffy to at least unbind us at the end of that turn, it means that we actually don't have to deal with the despair at all. And of course, because we have full type advantage against Robin, once we do get our final attack against Robin, it's not going to be a problem. And of course, with Bullet's captain effect, treating all those quick slots, which are normally non-beneficial to our team, treating them as matching, does make a pretty big difference, of course. But the rest of the content is, again, pretty straightforward from here, as the Revolutionary Army doesn't really have too many debuffs to worry about. You have the bind, basically, on a couple of stages, but it's only 5 turns of bind, and then you also have the defense up on the very first stage. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward from there. The final stage may be a bit tricky, because you do get inflicted with burn, and your health is cut and stuff like that. But of course, with Bullet being such a powerful unit, of course, it actually won't be that big of a deal, and plus him being super effective does really add a lot of damage to your team. So again, not really too much else to talk about here. Bullet just kind of carries the team along with the Sweet Commanders. I mean, the subs that we have on the team are very powerful, especially Luffy and Sanji, of course, because once our health does get a little bit low, we can go ahead and just use their switch effect continuously to generate at least 1 recovery slot every single turn. Something to note as well that isn't really talked about, but Luffy and Sanji have a crewmate ability that increase the amount of health that you get back from a recovery slot by, I think it's 300, which is actually really good. So they will actually generate a lot of additional health for your team. So very, very strong unit to have, especially with the pudding support attached to them, which is going to be very, very important once we get to the NL challenge towards the end of this video. But I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip versus the Revolutionary Army, and I'll see you guys once we get to the Whitebeard challenge. So getting into the Whitebeard challenge this time, if you guys have ever played these GARP challenges at all, you would know that the NL is going to be amazing for this team for this fight, because he removes attack down, he removes paralysis, he removes chain lock, he just removes all of the nasty debuffs that we have to take into consideration on the Vista and the Marco stage. And also using NL here against the Curiel to get rid of the first hit of attack down. And remember, we do have the Doflamingo support attached to the NL, so not only do we get his boost just from NL because our captain is driven, we get a chain boost, but with the Dofi support, it means that our driven characters get an orb boost too. So Bullet Buggy, and NL all will be benefited via that support effect. So it's really, really good to have that. Does it make a big difference if you don't have it? Probably not, but I would definitely advise if you do have it to get that support maxed out. It does make the team just do a little bit more damage whenever you need to launch NL's special ability. From here on out, though, it is just doing normal attacks, of course. We will be encountering the Fossa stage next. Now, I did get a little bit lucky and have Fossa on a 4-turn cooldown. Despite that, even if he isn't on a 4-turn cooldown, we can just go ahead and tank a hit from Jozu instead. If he's on a 2-turn cooldown, that is a little bit harsh. You can just probably just stall on this stage here with Haruta if you wanted to, but because I had the 4-turn cooldown here, I decided to just, you know, take my turns of stall. But as I said, if you do need to get a couple turns of stall in to ensure that your NL is ready for the Marco and Vista stage, you can take a hit or two from Jozu. But ideally, you don't want to take too much damage because Marco and Vista do a lot of damage to your team. And ideally, depending on the situation, it really does depend on the situation and what kind of cooldowns you will encounter. But either way, we do use the Luffy and Sanji special against Vista, which gives us a really good amount of health recovery. So even if you do have to tank a hit, you do get a lot of health recovery back from that. And then you do want to tank a hit from the Marco and Vista stage. So because you've healed so much with the Luffy and Sanji special, you can actually tank a hit on the stage 6, which is pretty good. And then carrying everything into the final room, launching all the special abilities, and that's basically it. So again, a lot of fun to use this team, of course. Bullet's always good fun to use. Being super effective against all types is just hilarious. And then, of course, there are a lot of really good strength units currently in the game, so we have a lot of good support for Bullet, and you know, just as they keep releasing more and more powerful strength units, Bullet just gets a lot of benefits from that. Even if it's powerful quick or int units, Bullet again just gets further benefits from that, which is great. So I don't know, Bullet's not really going to go anywhere anytime soon. I still think he's an extremely strong character and we'll definitely see a lot of play moving forward into the future, I feel. Just normal attacks only being as prevalent as it is means that, you know, for more high difficulty content or more you know, recent content, Bullet is not always the most ideal captain, but it's still awesome to use him to just be super effective against all types and do massive wave clears with his special, which is very satisfying. But I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip with Whitebeard, and we'll talk about NL, the final clip, once we get to it. The final clip of this video is versus the Eneru GARP challenge, so this team is pretty well suited for taking on this fight. The only real stage that I'd say is a little bit of a problem could technically be the stage where you get burnt. That stage can be a little bit annoying depending on how things go, but luckily when you do get inflicted with the paralysis, you can just go ahead and use the NL special to get rid of that, which is very good. Make sure to save the buggy special for the final stage. That is very important that you do that, and as well as saving just at least a damaging special of some kind for the final boss stage. So I think in this instance here, I have the buggy special, and I think I have the Sweet Commander special for the final stage. So I think that's all I'll definitely need. So you can use the Bullet special, and remember, whenever you do launch Bullet special, you do have the version 1 Akanu support, which will give you a full board of strength slots, and it gives your strength characters a 1.5 times attack boost. So in a lot of cases, if you just need to get rid of an entire stage, you can just use Bullet by himself, because the Akanu special plus Bullet is definitely going to be more than enough to take down like 99% of stages in any of these 10-star difficulty GARP challenges. It's not going to be that big of a deal at all. So that's really, really nice to have. This stage here against Wiper and his 2 surrounding dudes are kind of annoying too. They have like just an annoying amount of health. So I do use a Luffy Sanji special here to ensure that I have a lot of HP back, because when we move into the next stage, which is against I can't remember his name, Shura and whoever that other character was, that stage can be quite annoying because if you don't kill the yellow guy in one turn, you do take a lot of damage and you will be inflicted with attack down. Now, the attack down that you do get inflicted on the stage after this, it actually isn't that bad. Like, it's not like a 50% or like a 10% attack reduction or whatever it is. It's quite insignificant. It does reduce your damage by a bit, but it's not super noticeable. So honestly speaking, if you do get inflicted with the attack down, it's not the end of the world. And because it only lasts for 4 turns, as long as you are getting through this stage in a reasonable amount of time, more often than not, you'll move into the final stage of NL at least, and you won't have that attack down anymore. So luckily, it's not a very significant attack down, because if it was, then this fight would be a lot more difficult to deal with, that's for sure. But then once we get to the second last stage, we're able to launch a special once again, just to wave clear the stage, which is great. And then we can move on to the final stage and take down NL without any problems, as long as you do have the pudding support attached to Sanji, and also the buggy special ability. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
Maybe.